All right, happy Monday. Today is November, what is it, the 7th? It's the day before Election Day, and it's the Hillary Clinton, Donald Trump embarrassment of the country. Here's my prediction for tomorrow, okay? My prediction is this. Hillary Clinton obviously wins the electoral vote. Donald Trump wins the popular vote, not by much. Donald gets mad, files all these lawsuits, and does all these investigations into Hillary to try and turn it around, which is a total futile thing. And then he blames it all on a rigged system. It's funny how religious the voting becomes and who you're voting for, and how people just take this to a whole nother level as if their lives really depended on it. I considered not voting because I thought these candidates are horrible. I also considered voting independent, even though there's no way that guy's going to win, just to kind of send a message. I'm sure there's a handful of people doing that this year, but the fact remains that most people who vote for one of the two people who have a chance of winning. And the other fact still remains that the people who complain the most are the people who don't vote. So if you're not voting, don't complain. Nobody wants to hear it. If you are voting, don't complain. Nobody wants to hear it. The fraction of people that haven't made up their mind already aren't going to make a difference in the election. That's what I think. Am I talking about politics on the vlog? I never thought I'd talk about politics, but whoa, dude, wait a minute. What am I doing? I'm sorry. There we go. It feels good to work. I think to all the people who are voting for Bernie, just give it a try. Just try getting a job, any kind of job where you earn a little bit of money all by yourself so your parents don't have to give it to you. You will feel great about yourself. You'll realize, oh my gosh, I have value. And you won't expect anybody else who's made a lot of money to give you some of theirs so that you don't have to work. Minimum wage. Let's talk about minimum wage. Minimum wage is like what, $10 an hour or something like that? I've never made minimum wage in my entire life. The first job I ever got, I was working for Vans shoe store in the mall in Ventura. And they were having some sort of hiring event or something like that. I can't remember exactly how it went, but there was a lady out there saying, hey, do you want to apply? You know, we're looking for people to work at the store. And I was like, I heard her talking to people and I didn't say anything. And I went up to the front of the store and I just started shuffling people in. Hey, you guys want to buy some Vans? Vans are sweet shoes. Come on in. Check it out, you guys. Check it out. And I think I was 16 years old and I was just like, watch, I can get a job. I'd never had a job before. And, she stopped doing what she was doing, trying to get people to apply, and she came up to me and said, oh my gosh, would you like a job working here? And I was like, yeah, sure, why not? And she wound up paying me $1 more an hour than minimum wage. And when I first started working, people were asking me how much I made, so I told them. I didn't care, I didn't know. And there was a guy that had been working there for like 6 years who was at minimum wage. And this guy had a family and kids and stuff. And I felt super bad. I was like, man, here I'm getting paid $1 more an hour than this guy. And I live at home with my parents. Like, I don't even need a job. But because I did something and stood out a little bit to them, they wanted to hire me. And I was of more value to them than somebody who had a family. I'm sure there's something wrong with that. The moral of the story is this. That guy had a wife and kids, and he was working for minimum wage at the Vans shoe store in the mall, which, don't get me wrong, fun job. And you're in the mall, and you're seeing your friends and people come in and out all day long, and you're selling shoes. You know, it is what it is. Vans are cool shoes. So it was a fun place to work. It's a long story. I got a long story about when I was going to get let go from there. I'll tell that another time. But my question is, why is it that people work for minimum wage and they expect to make a living at that wage? Minimum wage jobs are there for people to learn to become workers in the workforce. They learn basic job skills. They learn to show up on time. They learn to not do drugs or crime. They learn to get basic customer service skills. They learn several very basic skills in the workplace so that they can get a job that will pay them to actually make a living. Minimum wage is called the minimum wage. It's the minimum required by law that somebody must pay you to work in their facility. And if you're looking at that as a career path, I beg you, please look a couple of steps further. Have a little bit more self-worth than the minimum. There's no shame in the minimum wage job if you're just learning about the workforce. You're in high school, or you just graduated high school, or you're in junior college, which I like to call advanced high school, and you're just, I was a kid who screwed off a lot. I did not get good grades in high school. I hated school, and I did not like authority, and I did not like people telling me what to do. I felt like I was in prison. People who know me have heard this story over and over. But I knew I wasn't going to work for minimum wage my whole life. I knew that there are jobs out there for people just like me and just like you who have certain skill sets that have great value to organizations. And whether or not you believe that about yourself, it's true. It's the absolute truth. And you have gifts and talents that you've been blessed with and born with that make you an incredible individual that has a lot of value. And you can take that value into the workplace, the right workplace, that complements those gifts, and companies will pay you more money because of those gifts and those skills. So I guess this is just a blog to encourage anyone who's working minimum wage to take the job seriously. Get good skills. Learn customer service. Look at how the other employees around you are acting and act that much better than they do. Be that much nicer. Go that much more above and beyond the call. And trust me, if you do that, you're not going to be at minimum wage very long, because there's people in management in those jobs as well. Let's take McDonald's, for example. You get there, you're working for minimum wage, and there's people who take pride in that job, and they do it very well. Those people eventually get promoted into management. And if they don't, they're smart enough to move on to a job that will do that for them, right? If you're a super hard worker that's in a minimum wage job, and you've been working there for 5 years and working your butt off, and you know you're the best employee there, and they haven't promoted you in any sort of way, take the skills that you've learned at your minimum wage job and the years of experience that you have and apply somewhere else and tell them, hey, I'm committed. I've been here for X number of years. I do this, this, and this above and beyond the call, and I'm just trying to better myself. Maybe you're at a place where that management position isn't going to be vacant for a long time, and you're ready to move up. Managers want to hear that. I'm a hiring manager. I hire lots of people all year long, and all we're looking for is someone with a little bit of motivation, a little bit of integrity, and someone who you can look at and go, man, I can develop this person into someone great. Or I'll give this person a shot. I'll give them a little bit more than minimum wage. I'll give them a try, and if they work out well, then I could have big plans for them. And I believe that most people can do most jobs. Do you need the skills and experience and the time to get to those higher levels? Of course you do. But if you have integrity and you work hard to get there, you can do anything you want, anything you want. Maybe another note for those of you who have been in a job for a long time and you just don't love your job. I would encourage you to go and there's a lot of tests online. There's books you can get at the bookstore, on Amazon. There's all kinds of ways for you to discover. There's tons of tools out there to help people discover what they're really good at and what they like. And people say if you get a job that you love, you never work another day in your life because you love what you do every day. What's not to love about that? I have a big corporate job and a big corporate company and I'm responsible for a lot of people and a lot of patients and a lot of money, really. And I like that responsibility, but I'm not cut out for the medical field. I don't necessarily love the medical field, but I found elements of my job that I do love, and that's what makes it great for me. Like, I'm someone that needs a lot of freedom to make the changes I want to change in my own role to see if I can better the company. Because when I can better the company based on my own ideas, that's what makes me feel good about myself. If I'm constantly checking the box and saying, oh, look, boss, I did exactly what you told me to do. Oh, look, I did exactly what you told me to do, and now things have changed for the better. Where's the pride in that? So tell me your thoughts. Comment. Put some comments in there and say, hey, this is what I think about minimum wage. Hey, this is what I think about the election. This is what I think is going to happen. But you got to hurry up because the election is tomorrow, and I'm probably not going to post this video until tonight. I'll try and post. Maybe I'll post it a little earlier, get some feedback.